I'm Ann Marshall with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, and today I'm with Eddie Malone, and he is the founder and director of Active After 50 Online, which is an online resource directory for baby boomers and seniors and local professionals who serve the over 50 population in all of Northeast Florida. And today, Eddie will be talking particularly about aging in place and staying at home during the COVID virus situation. Welcome, Eddie.
Well, thank you, Ann. Thanks for inviting me today to talk about some really and share some important information.
Well, we're anxious to hear what you have to say. If you want to take it away with your slides.
Okay, I do have some slides here to share with you.
Okay.
And as Ann said, I'm Eddie Malone. I'm an aging in place specialist. And I did found the Active After 50 directory, and also a local professional group comprised of for-profit and nonprofit professionals who serve our seniors. And today I am going to talk about something that's very important, and that is aging in place during the COVID-19 pandemic.
Eddie, can I just stop you here for 1 second? Sure. And ask, do you have this contact information at another point, or if we want to jot it down, is this our opportunity to do so?
This is, and also on the last slide,
okay.
I will let everybody know, and it is the activeafter50online.com. That's the website, and the phone number is as it's on the screen, which is 904-810-8535.
Thank you. Perfect.
You're welcome. Okay. So here we go. All right. So 10 ways to help our seniors. We all know that during this pandemic, our seniors are a very vulnerable population. So a lot of them don't get out too much. And we comprise the list, and this is also on the website. Some of these ideas you may have thought about. Some seniors may have assistance, but we know that some seniors don't. So 10 ways to help seniors during this pandemic. For instance, before you go to the grocery store, drugstore, or a restaurant, pick up, takeout, ask a senior neighbor if they'd like you to pick something up for them. We all have heard about Instacart, and it's great because it does deliver groceries to seniors and all types of families. However, in some cases, they're very, very much behind. So if a senior makes a call and needs some important groceries in a couple of days, they may not be able to get the groceries for a week or so, 4 or 5 days. So pick up the phone or knock on the door and check that out. Another thing, volunteer to walk their dog. That would be really helpful for some folks, and a very nice thing to do for a local senior. Ask them if they'd like you to put their mail or newspaper beside their front door. Nice little thing to do. Does their yard need maintenance? If you look over and the weeds and grass are really growing up, you might want to, if you have a child or yourself, maybe mow their lawn, offer that, or find someone in the neighborhood who could do that for them. There's some services, online services such as Nextdoor that are sometimes helpful to find local folks who can provide maintenance, but a senior may have some trouble with that. Does a senior need assistance putting their trash out or bringing their empty trash back in? You know, kind of keep an eye on that, and this would be a nice thing to do for somebody. If you have some extra items, some toiletry items, you might want to do a nice little thing, leave a little care package at the door of a senior, knock on the door, give them a call and say, hey, you know, we left some items that you may be interested on your front door for you. Another thing, if you have children, for instance, and we've seen this where local kids, schools are working in crafts and so on, making little paintings, cards, or crafts for their senior neighbors. A real nice way to cheer somebody up. To be safe though, put the items in a zip bag and make sure you put on there, you might want to wait to open this 3, 4, 5 days in the event there are any germs that they would have a chance to dissipate. I mentioned that online called Nextdoor, and you can also create a Facebook page, but Nextdoor is cool because different folks in the neighborhood can talk to each other. And that's a nice way to either talk maybe with the seniors, or if the senior is not online, you might want to talk with their adult children who may be joining in. Just another way to contact them. A lot of times seniors are kind of proud and say, you know, I don't need anything, I don't need any help, but you know, check in with them again. Continue to offer, you know, accepting assistance from other folks can be awkward at times, but you're trying to do something nice for our local seniors, and the result is you can make somebody feel really good. And also, Meals on Wheels is a great service that each county in the area has. And in addition to delivering meals, those folks sometimes who deliver notice that, let's say, a senior is not feeling well or may be really sick or something. So that's something too. If somebody, a senior, is not receiving meals delivered, just by knocking on the door or calling them up, you might discover that they're not feeling so well, and you could let somebody know. Um, if you care for a loved one who's in a community or a facility, make sure, again, you stay in touch with them. Ask about the health of the other residents, what they're doing to protect the residents, and what happens if there is an outbreak of the virus in their community. So again, these are on our website, activeafter50online.com. And some other really helpful information about the virus. All the different counties are listed there in terms of their resources. So go on the site and check it out. So we're talking about aging in place. What is aging in place? And it's the ability for somebody to live in their own homes independently, safely, and comfortably. With a key word there is safely. And so some of those things we talked about doing could be really helpful in keeping them safe. However, aging in place, and you'll see on the screen here, has lots of moving parts. In addition to safety, there's issues such as keeping the maintenance of your house up. Let's say you live alone and you're a woman or a man in your late 70s, early 80s. There's lots of things to consider, especially now with the coronavirus. So people want to age in their homes. They want to stay as long as they can. But what if they can't? You know, are there any other options? And again, I direct you to the website, activeafter50online.com, and you'll find there's some things you can do to downsize. Let's say you have a big house and you can't manage it anymore. It's an old house. There's some local experts and our friends, Ann Marshall and Kezias. And as a matter of fact, is a seniors real estate specialist, and she can help people downsize. She can help people, you know, find other options to aging in place. Another option is assisted living. On the website, we have a listing of over 100 assisted living communities, and also very, very helpful checklists that you can print out and will help. Let's say you have a family member who they can't age in place, they can't live in their home anymore, and they want to check out assisted living. So before they do, or before you do, go on the website and you'll get some really valuable information of what to do and how to do it. So once again, information for active aging, boomers and seniors on the website, activeafter50online.com. All of our contact information is on there. And I hope we gave you some really good ideas and information to help our local seniors. I want to thank Ann Marshall very much for inviting me today to speak with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Eddie. If we could close without the screen share, that would be great. And can I just ask a couple of quick questions about aging in place, and that might flush out a little bit more information? So like if someone was looking for an aging in place specialist, what generally are the costs incurred with that? Is that like an hourly rate, or is it a consultation fee, or?
Yes, there's just a few of us in the area, but there's an initial assessment where a specialist will go into the home, and you know, we have our checklists and we ask some questions, but we also kind of do a tour of the house, and we know what we're looking for, especially again on that safety standpoint. And not only things like, you know, a throw rug that might be ready to have somebody, you know, slip and fall, for instance, or an area where you may need a grab bar, but also we notice things like general health. Does the person have their own little network or somebody who can help them in case of an emergency or things like that? So the initial checklist or assessment is part of it. And then if they want you to come back to do a real specific plan, we can do that as well. And then there would be an hourly rate.
And sometimes it involves maybe reconstruction of an area, like putting in a ramp or something like that? What would be maybe one of the more common recommendations in terms of any kind of remodeling feature?
Sure. Well, the most common thing is just by installing some grab bars in certain parts of the house, can prevent somebody from falling, for instance, and kind of navigate around the house. So mobility is very important. Lighting is very important. So many folks, they don't think about it. They're up in the middle of the night, it's dark, and again, once again, they can slip and fall. But other projects, a little mini ramp, a threshold ramp, so they can navigate around the house. The biggest item, though, is bathroom remodeling, updating. So a lot of folks, for instance, as we age, we're less mobile, for instance, and to be able to, let's say you have one of the old-fashioned bathtubs, to get in and out of the tub is very difficult. So there are other options. But again, we know certain people in the area who are trustworthy. And from a standpoint of working with our seniors, that is so important these days, especially in light of all the senior scams that are going on with contractors and other folks who are in that industry. So it's really good to talk to somebody you can trust, like an aging in place specialist, who can kind of get somebody or a family started.
So you can recommend tools, resources, a handyman or a contractor, those sorts of things would all be under your umbrella as aging in place specialist.
That's right. And we have really two different areas we draw from. I mentioned briefly, we started a group called SPIN, Senior Providers Information Network. And so every month we meet with local providers of those things that you just mentioned and those various areas. So we get to know them, we get to trust them, we hear about referrals and reviews, and then we can recommend. And what we never recommend just one person or one company. We always recommend at least two, and then at least you have a point of reference there and a choice. And then we have the website, activeafter50online.com. And there are literally hundreds of resources on there, including our nonprofits, our agencies, and our governmental agencies. So it's really a great resource to get some good information.
And I love the fact that you cover all of Northeast Florida. Is it Daytona all the way till Jacksonville, or a million?
It's Palm, right now it's Palm Coast to Jacksonville, even north of Jacksonville by the Georgia border. But we are right now working in Daytona to gather resources that we're going to populate on the site within the next 30 to 60 days. So we'll, I think Daytona, you're right, is considered, Northeast Florida, just barely.
Well, what a huge contribution you make to our world here for the over 50 population. And thank you so much for being with us today. We really appreciate your time and your information and your commitment.
Thank you so much, Anne, for having me. It's been a pleasure.